Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our virtual Mr. Berurah share. Before I begin the share today, there's an announcement that I want to make. A little bit of I don't know if you want to call it a schedule change, but that is that we are holding right now in Mr. Berurah. We're on Samach Tes Amid Aleph, and we're going to finish today Siman Taf Samach Vav. Now, in the coming week or two or something like that, sometime soon, I'm looking forward to launching my own website. And these shiurim are going to be featured on that site. And it is critical to me that we be holding on Dirshu's schedule so that the daily share is the daily Dirshu Siman and Sif and page in Mishnah Berurah that everybody else is learning. So to that end, as much as I never like doing this, I'm going to skip today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish Siman Taf Samach Vav. So we're holding in Taf Samach Vav Siv Vav. I'm going to finish Siman Taf Samach Vav. Siman Taf Samach Zayin is Din Chitim Shenafal Alei Mayim. So really Taf Samach Zayin are the halachas that pertain to the wheat. Now, of course, these are also critical halachas in the preparation of matzah, but at the same time, they're not halachas that most people have too much shaykhs to. Most people don't go out and prepare the wheat for the matzah baking, etc. I'm going to skip from the end of Taf Samach Vav to Siman Taf Ayin Beis, which is on Ayin Tes Amid Beis. Siman Taf Ayin Beis is Dinei Haseba Va'arba Kaises. So I'm going to skip to Siman Taf Ayin Beis, which will pick up with all of the practical halachas of the Seder night, and that will put us 6 days behind the Dirshu schedule. At that point, I'm going to schedule it so that we should catch up to the Dirshu schedule in short order. Every day, I'm going to try and do a certain amount extra. I'll try to add a little bit material to what we normally do to catch up to the Dirshu schedule in short order. Once we hit the Dirshu schedule, I would like to really stay on the Dirshu schedule. So exactly what we'll do on Yom Tovim, etc., we'll have to work out. But I really, really, really want to stay on the Dirshu schedule. I hope that the Olam will bear with me. I hope the Olam isn't upset about it. You know how much I don't like doing this, but I do have to try and set the share up in such a way so that it can have as broad an audience as possible, especially now so much Torah learning is being done online, and there really is a great opportunity here to have others join our share. There are so many people learning Dirshu, and the truth be told, I haven't seen a tremendous amount of real quality material online when it comes to Dirshu Mishnah Berurah. So I would like to be able to make this contribution and have it out there for the people that are learning Dirshu. So with that in mind, we go to Samach Tes Amid Aleph on the top line of the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Taf Samach Vav, Sif Vav. Says the Mechaber, Kamach shenafal alav delef afilu kol hayom einoi ba lidei chimutz. If you have flour and rain is falling on it, afilu kol hayom, even all day, the rain is sitting and raining on this flour, einoi ba lidei chimutz. It does not become chametz, and we'll see in the Mishnah Berurah why. And the Mechaber continues, V'hu sheyiyah hadelef toired bali hefsik. This is only true if the delef is continuous, if it's toired, if it comes down with significance, and it bothers, so to speak, the kemach. It's beating on the kemach, bali hefsik, without any interruption. Not that it rains and then it stops, and then it rains and it stops. V'yafenu miyad l'kishi yipasek. But then you should take this flour and you should knead it into a dough, and you should bake it immediately when the rain stops. If you find yourself doubtful whether or not this rain that was falling on the kemach, is this something that you would call toired imlav, if this was something that was strong enough to prevent chimutz or not, then this kemach is forbidden. And like the Mishnah Berurah will say, it's forbidden because here we would be dealing with a safek daraisa. We have a safek daraisa of chametz. A safek daraisa, we have to go lahachmer. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Ois Kat Chav Tes, Einoi ba. The rain is not going to bring this flour to chametz. Why not? Explains the Chavetz Chaim, shetirdas hadelef, the tirda, the aggravation of the rain. The rain is going and it's hitting the flour. And we know, we've already said this concept many times, that when you work the dough, it cannot become chametz. In order for chametz to take place, it has to be sitting at rest. But if you're working it, it cannot come to chametz. So the raindrops hitting the flour, that's enough of a tirda that it prevents chametz. Even though the flour is sitting and soaking in the rainwater, the tirda of the raindrops prevents the chametz process. Even if the moisture of the rain permeates the flour and the moisture goes into this pile of flour and the raindrops are not hitting over there, or even if the raindrop somehow is hitting part of the pile, but over here you have a section of the pile that's not being hit by the raindrops, since you have this tirud, this aggravation of the raindrops that are hitting with strength, it's hitting the flour, umavlia tipa achar tipa, and one drop after the other is getting absorbed. Everything surrounding the raindrops cannot become chametz. The Mechaber said that this is only true if the delef is tyrade b'li hefsek, only if this is a continuous rain. What the Mechaber wants to say is this is only true if it is raining continuously, drop, 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 drop the entire day. The ilavachi, because if not, if there are breaks in the rain, yitztarfu hashehiyos shebein tipa letipa, then all of the time gaps, the delays that are between each drop, they're going to add up, they're going to combine to the sheer mill, to the sheer chametz of 18 minutes. This is a concept that we spoke about earlier in Tafnun Tes, in Siv Beis, where the Ramah brought down a shita over there. You can find this on Nun Zayin Amud Aleph, I believe it is. Second, it was Tafnun Tes, right? No, I'm sorry. On Nun Vav Amud Beis. Where is it? It should be right here. Rather, Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Nun Vav Amud Aleph near the bottom. This is the famous Ramah. The Ramah said that you have to work quickly when you're making matzah. Because you have this possibility that the time in between, all of the time gaps, you roll out the matzah and then you put the matzah down and you wait for somebody to pick it up. Then it goes to the radler and it waits. There's all of these little time gaps where the dough waits. Maybe those time gaps combine to the sheer mill. Now, we did have the Trumas Hadeshin over there in Mishnah Berurah Oiskat and Tezayin that said that when you do a asik gemura with the dough, so let's say the person forms the dough into a disc so that somebody could roll out a matzah, and they put that disc down on the table, and the disc of matzah sits there for a minute until the person who's going to roll it out picks it up. Now he takes it, he starts to roll it out. That minute, the Trumas Hadeshin says, that minute when the disc of matzah sat there on the table, that is already wiped out. That doesn't combine to a later gap. Because since you did an asek gemura, since you worked the dough in a very, very significant way, when you rolled it out, that negates the earlier minute when it sat. But if you don't have what's called an asek gomur, if you're not really working the dough in a significant way, so like over here, where all we're talking about is raindrops hitting the flour, that's not really what we would call an asek gomur. That's not a significant way of working the dough. And therefore, the Mishnah Berurah says we have to worry that maybe the time span between when there's a break in the rain, maybe all of those breaks in the rain will combine for a sheer mill. And now the Mishnah Berurah continues right by the ice cut and pay for the Sharatzion. The Yeshma Achrayim Shema Farashamatam. There are other Achrayim that say the reason why the rain has to be constant is the Kishainam Yardois Ritzufais, because if it's not constant, Ein Bekoicham Limnaya Hachimutz. then forget about even the question of whether or not the time is going to combine for the shear mill. If the raindrops are not falling constantly, that's not enough of a tirda. That's not enough kayach. That's not enough of an asik in the flour to prevent chimutz. The Mishnah Berurah is cut in Lamed Aleph. The Mechaber said, after it rains, you should take this flour, make it into a dough, and you should bake it immediately. You should bake this into a matzah immediately after the rain ends. What the Mechaber wants to say over here is, once this flour was rained on, now if the rain is going to stop, you can't leave this wet flour without any asek, without working it, because it's going to become chametz. Ella rather yolush, you should knead it, v'yoyfem and bake it immediately. The chamavur le'el b'siman tafnun tesiv beis. V'zeu lechatchila. Says the Chavetz Chaim, this is a din lechatchila. Aval di'eved, but b'di'eved, ein aser ela kishenishtar shir mil achar shehifsik adelef. You see, the Mechaber says that you should bake it immediately after the rain stops. You don't want to let it sit at all. But that's really only a din lechatchila. But the Evid, we're going to say that it's not going to become chametz unless it sits for 18 minutes. Now, the truth is that this is something that we've seen earlier also, which is that once you work the dough and now you put the dough and you let the dough rest, we said it's possible that that dough could become chametz faster than the shear mill. Once you worked it and you heated it up and now you let it alone, we saw earlier, it could be that it becomes chametz even faster. So lechatchila, if it got wet from the rain, when it finishes raining, like the Mechaber says, we want to knead it into a dough and bake it immediately. But the Chavetz Chaim says that's only lechatchila. But the Eved, like we've said earlier, we say that it takes 18 minutes to have chimutz. It doesn't become chametz less than a shear mill. Ice cut lamed beis imhu mesupik. The Mechaber said if you're mesupik, if you have a doubt whether or not this rain was significant enough to prevent chimutz, then the Mishnah Berurah, then the Mechaber said, then this kamach, this dough would be aser, would be prohibited for use on Pesach. Says the Chavetz Chaim, and it's cut lamed beis. This veka daraisahu. Like I said, this is a suffix daraisa. It's a suffix chimutz daraisa. You have to be machmer. And even to maintain this dough in your possession over Pesach would be aser. Says the Chavetz Chaim, this halacha is true also by grain, not only by flour. If the rain was dripping on grain, on wheat kernels, drip after drip, it never becomes chametz. But if the rain was not falling constantly on this cut grain, the grain will become chametz through this rainwater. And even if the rain is falling on the wheat, and we're talking about cut wheat, we're not talking about wheat that's still b'mechuber, that's still connected to the ground. If it's cut wheat and the rain is falling on it, even if it is a constant rain, immediately after that rain is over, we have to grind it. Why does grinding help? Because grinding is an asek. Grinding is an asek gomer. So when you go ahead and you grind it now, it can't become chametz. So grind it into flour, and then right away knead it into a dough, and then right away bake it. Ice cut lamed gimel. If you have a suffix whether or not this rain was significant enough, then the Mechaber said this flour is aser. The Prima Gadim says we shouldn't play around with this at all. If we have flour that got wet, it should not be used on Pesach. We shouldn't look at rain and try to decide, is this rain significant enough to prevent chimutz or not? If the flour got rained on, says the Prima Gadim, we should not use it. And now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the share, with a little bit of a heavy heart, I'm turning pages and I am skipping from Samach Tes Amid Aleph to Pei Amid Beis. I'm sorry, not Pei Amid Beis, my mistake. To Ayin Tes Amid Beis on the bottom line in the Shulchan Aruch, and we pick up with Siman Tuf Ayin Beis, which begins over here. What the truth is that as much as I say it's with a heavy heart, but we go right away into a very exciting Siman in Shulchan Aruch. Dinei Haseba v'arba kaisais, the halachas of Haseba, of leaning by the Seder. So now here we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the Seder night. So even though we're now holding in the Yemei HaSvira, even though Pesach is behind us, but we could take Pesach with us now. We're close enough to Pesach that we remember our Seder nights. And the truth is that we should have in mind, we should remember those lessons that we learned by the Seder night, and we should take those lessons with us, take them through Sfira, and bring them with us into Kabbalah Satayrim Yisashem. So let's go into Siman Taf Ayin Beis. Dinei Haseba v'Arba Kaisais. The halachas of Haseba, of leaning at the times during the mitzvahs that we're supposed to do Haseba on by the Seder, the Arba Kaisais, and the halacha of the 4 Kaisais of Yayin that we drink by the Seder. Uboy Tez Zayin Seifim. And here we have Tes Zayin Seifim. Says the Mechaber, your table should be set for the Seder already during the day. You should not wait to set your Seder table at night. I know by me already that's a very big deal. It's a big hakpada of mine that the first thing on Erev Pesach, if not even the night of Bedika, the first thing in the morning on Erev Pesach, the table should be set for the Seder so that everything is ready to go. Your table should be set already during the day on Erev Pesach. The words here literally mean so that we should be able to eat immediately when it gets dark, which means Tzeis HaKochavim. And we'll explain exactly what that means in the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, let's go right away to Ois Katan Aleph. Kedei lechol miyad, which literally means so that you should be able to eat immediately. Says the Chavetz Chaim, lav dafka. We don't mean over here that we should be able to eat. We don't mean that we should be able to go to Shulchan Aruch right away when Misha Tekshach. We have Kadesh that has to come first, right? We have Kadesh, Urchatz, Karpas, Yachatz. So he says lav dafka. V'hakavana, the intent of the Mechaber is kedei sheyiyeh efshar lo lahaskal haseder tekef Misha Tekshach. The point over here is that you should be able to begin your Seder. You should be able to begin Kadesh right away by Tzeis HaKochavim, v'lo yishtaheh, and you shouldn't have any delays. You shouldn't be waiting around. Continues the Mechaber. Let's go back up to the Shulchan Aruch. By me, it's almost at the end of the line on Ayin Testament Beis. Va'af imhu bebeis hamedrash. Even if you're sitting and learning in the Beis Medrash. So somebody had a Seder. Somebody learned David Ma'ariv, and now he wants to sit down and he wants to learn. Va'af imhu bebeis hamedrash yakum. Even if you're sitting and learning in the Beis HaMedrash, it's time to get up. It's time to get up from learning and leave the Beis Medrash and go home to the Seder. Because it is a mitzvah to hurry up, to act with alacrity, and to go start that Seder, and to eat, because of the young children, shalo yishnu, so that they should not go to sleep. Zakt the Mishnah Berurah. Let's go to the Mishnah Berurah. He's cutting Beis. The Beis HaMedrash, even if somebody is sitting in the Beis Medrash, what the Mechaber wants to say over here is, Sha'isik bilimudai. Somebody is sitting in the Beis HaMedrash and he's being Isaac in Torah, he's learning, which is something that we never interrupt. We don't interrupt learning. It's brought down for Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva would only be Mavatal. When would he get up for something? For the Seder. For Hu Adin Le'inyan Tefillah. And also when it comes to davening, Tzarech lezareis atzmai. A person should act with zrizus. He should act with alacrity. Likrois Kriya Shema, to go say Kriya Shema, ulhispalel, and to daven Ma'ariv, v'leilech tekef lebeisai, and go right away to his house. Now, obviously, we're not starting the Seder immediately after Tzeis HaKochavim, because he's going to say Kriya Shema after Tzeis HaKochavim, and he's going to daven Ma'ariv after Tzeis HaKochavim. But what the Chavetz Chaim is telling you here is that when it comes to davening, comes to Kriya Shema, and it comes to davening, don't waste time. Don't daven late. And I would think also by extension, don't make the davening a schlepped out davening. I'm not saying daven fast, but daven, have a beautiful davening, but daven and get home and daven on time. Because you got to start the Seder on time. Ois Katan Gimel, shemitzvah lemaher v'lechel. Now, again, the words of the Mechaber literally mean that it's a mitzvah to hurry up and to eat. Says the Chavetz Chaim, what the Mechaber wants to say over here is, lezares, you should act with alacrity, la'asais haseder, to make the Seder and begin the Seder, kedei shelo yishnu atinoikos, so that the young children should not go to sleep. Kishayedu, when the young children know that there won't be a very, very lengthy time until you finally get up to Shulchan Aruch and sit and eat, so then they'll wait. They might not be eager to wait for everything else. If they know that the food is not coming out for hours and hours and hours, maybe they're not going to be so interested. But if they know, oh, we're starting, so okay, it's not going to be too long until we eat. So then they'll hang around and they'll stay up. And from that will come out that they'll be up and they'll ask the manishtana, and you'll be able to answer them. And you'll be able to be mekayim the mitzvah of the Gadata Levincha. So I would venture to say, I'm sorry, you hear me delaying over here, just something caught my eye in a Sha'ar Tzion over here. But this is something that we have to keep in mind. We have to keep in mind that one of the Iker mitzvahs of the Seder night is this V'higadat Levincha. We have a mitzvah that we have to eat matzah. We have a mitzvah that we have to drink the kaisis. We have a mitzvah we have to eat mar. These are all mitzvahs halayla. But one of the key mitzvahs halayla, of course, is V'higadat Levincha b'yom the mitzvah of Haggadah, the mitzvah of transmitting all of the Ikrei Amunah and all of the critical lessons of the Seder to our children. And we can't lose sight of that. And we have to remember, we have to try to arrange the Seder and set the Seder up in such a way that we do not lose the children, chas v'chalila. Somebody is going to sit down by his Seder and he decides that he wants to be mekayim the mitzvahs halayla b'hidura. So he wants to sit down with the Haggadah and he wants to be medayik in every pasuk that the Baal Haggadah goes through when he discusses Yetzias Mitzrayim, and he wants to sit with Chumash and Rashi and Ramban and a Malbim and everything else. So forget even the question of when is he going to eat his masa, when is he going to eat his afikomen, is he going to make chatzos, is he not going to make chatzos? But he's going to lose his family. If he's going to sit there in an ivory tower and he's going to sit learning Rishonim and Achrayim and beautiful pshetlach on all of these psukim and everything else, his children are going to fall by the wayside and they're going to go to sleep. So you have to try and make the Seder, and you have to watch who you have sitting around your table, and you have to analyze your children. And sometimes it's difficult because you have one child who needs one thing and another child that needs another thing. But this is one of the things that we have to work on by the Seder, is that we have to have in mind to hold them and to hold the audience and keep them there so that we could be mekayim the mitzvah of the Gadat Levincha. And here you see it in halacha. The halacha is telling you mitzvah lamar v'lechel, that there's a mitzvah that we got to tailor make this to hold the kids. The kids should see that they're going to stay up. Says the Mechaber Vayter on the top line of Peyam and Aleph, right by the Ois Kat and Dalet for the Mishnah Berurah. The Mechaber says that while I'm telling you that there's a mitzvah to hurry up and to set things up so that the Seder should be able to begin at the right time and the kids should stay up, Aval, however, lo yomar kiddush ad shetechshach. You can't make kiddush until after Tzeitzah Kechavim. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and dalit. Aval lo yomar kiddush. You can't make kiddush by the Seder night until after Tzeis. Ritzayna loymar. What the Mechaber wants to say is the loy tema. You should not say kevin mitzvah lamaher. Since there's a mitzvah tonight to hurry up and get started, maybe yaskala kiddush v'ha'agadah mi ba'oyoy. Maybe we should start early. Right? We make Shabbos early during the summer. People like to take in Shabbos early, and it's even nice and light outside when the davening Ma'ariv. So maybe we should make early Pesach. Imagine how much stress that would take off. We don't have to worry about watching the clock, the chatzos. We could sit, everything nice and calm and relaxed. So maybe Kevich Mitzvah Lamal Yaskala Kiddush V'Haggadah B'Yom Yom. Like we say by Shabbos and Yom Tov, where you have the ability to take on Shabbos early, and you're actually taking from the weekday and you're adding it on to Shabbos. And you can make Kiddush. So you're actually making Friday afternoon Shabbos. That's what it means to be Meisef Mechayil ala Kodesh. You're taking the Friday afternoon and you're actually turning it into Shabbos. And you can make Kiddush and have your Shabbos Suda. Pesach Kamash V'Chanal B'Siman Reish Samach Zayin. Kamash Balon, the Mechaber teaches us here, the Legabe Pesach Einoi Kain, that in the context of Pesach, that does not work. Lefisha achilas matzah hoksha Pesach, because the mitzvah of achilas matzah, we have a hekish that compares it into the mitzvah of carbon Pesach. The juxtaposition in the pasuk of achilas matzah and the carbon Pesach forms a hekish, and now we learn out the din one to the other. Shenamar, the pasuk says, "Al matzos umiroirim yechluhu," that you're supposed to eat the carbon Pesach together with matzah and mar. So from the pasuk putting matzah and mar together with the carbon Pesach, we learn out a comparison in their halachas. Pesach the carbon Pesach has to be eaten at night. So therefore, the achilas matzah also has to be done at night. What does that have to do with kiddush? Kiddush tzarich liyos b'shah haru'uya lamatzah. And the kiddush by the seder has to be made at a time when you can be yotze the mitzvah of achilas matzah. So kiddush has to be by night. It has to be after tzeis. Furthermore, the kaish of kiddush hu echad be'arba kaisais. The first kais, the kais that you drink by kiddush, is the first of the daled kaisais. The kulu basar hagada umatzah umaru geriri, and all of the daled kaises get taken after the mitzvah of haggadah and the mitzvah of matzah and the mitzvah of mar. They all have to be done at night. You can't make kiddush until night, until it's dark. What does that mean? The Mechaber means to say, when he says after the time of Tzeis HaKechavim, not during Bein Hashmashos. We're going to stop over here. It's Hashem. We'll continue tomorrow with Siv Beis. I hope the Olam forgives me for taking this opportunity over here to skip over here. You know that I don't do it lightly. But again, as I explained at the outset of this year, it's very important to me that we get back onto the Dirshu schedule. Thank you so much for joining me for this Torah learning. Ran Shalom Shechik, Yeshuas and Refuas to those who need it, Parnasa to those who need it. We should only have Simchas, and we should all be Zeicha to be as Goel Tzedek, B'Mehera V'Yameinu. We should have a true Geula. We should be Zeicha to see a carbon Pesach in the Beis Hamikdash. Be well.